Hey, storytellers, it's Storytelling Ron. I'm doing an oddball video here about my Star Wars role playing game series, online series that I'm doing. I kind of want to, this is like a session zero sort of, because it kind of started off chaotically and it's kind of a big mess until episode 9. Okay, so I just wanted to go through quickly uh, just the craziness that started this series. And first, I want to start off by saying, yes, we say Christians in space. I kind of started it off like that. I'm not here to preach on this channel. I'm not here to preach or anything, but I'm just noticing kind of like just in our culture today, we're getting sorted. I feel like, you know, who we are, what we are, we're getting labeled. And I just want to say out front what my label is so you guys can decide, oh, do I want to subscribe and watch this dude, or do I want to, it's not my thing. I just kind of want to do that. I want to just do that because I don't want to, build up and then get canceled. I want to get canceled first so everyone knows where I'm at, and then we go from there. So that's kind of what I'm sort of trying. I don't know what the plan is. It's very quasi weirdo to me. But I just wanted to come out and say, okay, I'm a Christian and I play role-playing games, and that's who I am, I don't want to get preachy because I get kind of crazy, and God's definitely telling me no, Ron, no, Ron. So don't want to go anymore. Anyway, we're not going to be preaching in this series. We're not going to be, doing anything. Maybe I wanted to say some positive little things in it, but that's about it. It's family friendly. Obviously, we want to do that, and we want to keep it canon. I want to keep it canon. Star Wars. I don't want to change it or do anything. I don't want to bring in Jesus or anything like that into this fun little sci-fi fantasy thing. I just want to keep it canon because we all we enjoy stories. We enjoy storytelling in all these different ways, and we love. I enjoy the Star Wars series, and it's just because it's light and it's fun and it's adventurous, and there's good and evil. So I do like that aspect of it. So that's the premise of doing this series. What's funny is that the guy that I've been doing Star Wars RPG with my family and learning it and just wanting something different than D&D and D20 system. And so this is kind of like a neat thing. And I did not know much about Star Wars before this. I mean, I watched the movies and enjoyed that. I never watched the Clone Wars or any of that kind of stuff. So I didn't really pay much attention to it except in I grew up with the action figures. So when I was a kid, I had a lot more involvement in it. But as I got older, I didn't. But then, when I started doing the Star Wars RPG, I don't know, for some reason, I guess The Mandalorian just got me hooked on just that kind of sci-fi. And so I decided to, just wanted something different for my brain than fantasy and D&D. And so I really got into it, over time, and then got the family to play. And that's as far as I've gotten with it. And then when Brad, who's on in my Rime of the Frost Maiden, he started doing little nudges on me, and it just came around that I just started getting back into it. And when I get into it, I just anyway. So he got me into it, and then we were talking about getting it started, and then he gets sick, so we still wanted to play, but he was sick, and then I got Larry into it, and then he misses, and for the first 3 episodes. So I just have Larry and his son, and it's kind of weird. And I'm still learning Foundry, and I'm still kind of remembering how to do Star Wars RPG. And then I'm also how the Star Wars RPG is working in Foundry. And then as the Foundry progresses, I'm adding more and more maps, and they're huge. So I'm having so it's causing. I think that's what's causing a lot of our connection problems. So. And I'm making huge maps because I just really love battle maps and big maps, and maybe it's my when I was a kid I just didn't get as many Star Wars action figures as all the other kids, so that's why anyway. So it's a bummer for me because the first 8 episodes are very there's so many technical difficulties. We're trying to get a momentum going, but it keeps getting stalled by all the different issues that we're having. And we didn't even get a third player until episode 7. Walter joined us. after episode 5 and 6, I realized Brad wasn't going to join, and then so I was like, man, I got to find other players, and I really did want to do a Christian. I'm not saying not every series I'm going to do is Christian only, but I just wanted to do a Christian only one, and then declare it thusly, just to see. I don't know, to experiment, just to see what would happen. But then finding Christians who roleplay was difficult. Thankfully on Discord I found some sites, and then on Reddit I did it. So I got these, basically found these people through Discord and Reddit, different groups. Just put it out there that I'm doing a Christian one, because I see other people looking for games and they have their own little categories of what they want or believe or whatever. So I was like, well, I'll just do a Christian one then. Anyway, so episode 7, Walter joined, and episode 8, Ken, who plays the Caboosian, whatever, the little rabbit dude. So that was, and again, we were having technical difficulties. Both of them had slow. Both of them seem to have slow internet connections or whatever. We're not familiar with Foundry and whatever that needs to load in their browsers. And then oddly, by episode 9, suddenly I got 2 more, which I got a little enthusiastic there. One of them is just there for a little while, Kevin. He's just on paternity leave. So he's joining for just 4 weeks as a 6th player, and I thought that was fine just for a little while. But 6 is a lot. I don't mind 6 if everyone knows what they're doing and everyone knows what's going to happen, and but that's like the max. But I prefer 4 to 5. And then David, thank God he came. He's very experienced. I think he's GM'd Star Wars quite a bit. So he knows everything about Star Wars. So that's really been helpful. And any of you out there who want to GM or DM, and some player comes along and knows the game better than you, don't take that as a, don't be insecure or anything about that. That's great. They can help you with the rules. You got to come to that point in your life where you get things wrong all the time, and you need help, or people can help you, and it's collaborative, and you work together. So that's kind of what I wanted to just mention about this series. If you want to watch this series, episode 9 is when we really get going. All the rest of the episodes are really tough to watch. I mean, I enjoy it because I'm just listening to what we're doing and going through and learning, and all the difficulties we're having with it. But episode 9 is when I think, episode 9 is when I still don't know everybody. I still don't know, who they are and all that. Episode 10 and 11 gets a little better. We all sort of, it's getting more comfortable as far as who's doing what. So that I like. And then learning Foundry and doing learning Star Wars rules and how Star Wars works in Foundry. There's like 3 different things to deal with there. And I'm still trying to deal with my new mic and my new camera and OBS, and I'm changing it up a little bit and seeing. So it's just it's just fun. It's fun to do all this, to throw yourself and challenge yourself, and try to make something fun and entertaining. I hope. I mean, learning, entertaining, curiosity, curious. What was that when you see a disaster, like a curious? When you're watching disaster, I'm losing all. I'm getting older. I'm losing idioms and phrases or whatever they're called. So that's it. I just want to, and then I'm just going to quickly go through kind of what each episode is. So Strangers in a Strange Land was just Larry and Brad couldn't talk. He couldn't talk because he was still sick. And basically I'm just trying to introduce the 2 characters, Arias and the droid, IG-88, and they go to the town. I don't even remember what happens, whatever. And then in episode 2, Giveth and Taketh, so Brad doesn't make it. And so Larry and his son, and we talked, and so his son would join. So it's just Larry and his son. So it's kind of weird. I'm still, I'm kind of, I'm trying to, and I'm really, the thing too is that I was so anxious to get this started because Brad kept feeding me that he wanted to play, and then as I started prepping, I got really, and this was week after week after week. I finally got really impatient, and so we started it really before we were even ready, And I was just like, ugh. And then of course every time we got Wednesday came around, another fiasco. And I think it was episode 3. Either Brad was sick one week, and then the next week he had a date with his wife. Couldn't make it. So I was like, another week that he couldn't make it. I don't remember which is which. And then I think by episode 4 we realized. And then Brad said, "Oh, sorry, I can't do it. My wife doesn't let me," because he plays in the other Rhyme of the Frost Maiden. So I was like, and I'm kind of stuck with Larry and Garrett, his son. Not stuck, but like that's it. We only just. And and so that was not, that was but I really still wanted to play. So I think by episode 5 and 6, I slowly was figuring out how to contact or figure out where to find other Christians that RPG, with Discord and Reddit. It was kind of a tedium there. And finally, I finally got Walter to join. And there was a couple other, there's 3 or 4 others that I was talking to and didn't happen. But so Walter joined there, and then Ken on this one. And actually Ken was going to show up on the episode 7, but he couldn't. I was like, not big on him. It was just a miscommunication. And there's another person that dropped out for, really quickly. Christians. And then finally, episode 9, I got the 2 more. So that was kind of exciting, but also, you don't really know what's going to, how impressive are you going to be with these people, especially with the Dave guy, because he knows a lot. And I could tell when we were talking, and he had all this backstory stuff, and all this. I was like, yikes. I had to go look up some of that stuff that he was mentioning. So, but hopefully it'll keep going. So again, episode 10 is, 9 and 10 is when we got a full house and starting to really, get things going. The other ones have some story stuff, and like I said, I started this, not like I said, but like I tell them all the time, they did not get a ship. I started them in a small Tatooine planet, dirt poor. They've got to build up on their own. So on episode 10, they've got a mine for a base of operations, an old mine. They got a land speeder. So it took them 10 episodes to get that. But now I'm on 11, and then episodes 11A and B are just Walter playing his droid, who's a techie, and we just kind of played out some crafting, just on our own on like a Saturday morning, Thursday night, just real quick. So that was really cool. Just never did it before. Kind of looked through the crafting book, the mod book for the techies, and just kind of went through and just had them salvage and craft, and just kind of did some rolls and figured it out. That was fun. He built a bunch of little things that that are useful for them, and so I guess that's it. That's just me trying to explain this world, what's going on. They're all in Tatooine, a small settlement there. There's an old mine nearby. There's a bunch of things around there for them to explore and do. There's some Tusken Raider things that they dealt with in the first few episodes. Water vapor farm that they went and checked on. It was taken out. The Tusken Raiders raided it, and the Mos Nido, the little settlement they're at. Interacting with all the characters there, and there's a little minor boss or. I'm not using Obligation in Edge of the Empire. I'm not using that because I like it as a game mechanic, and I've said in other videos, but I like it as a game mechanic for new GMs. But I'm an experienced GM, but you new GMs, be aware of this as well. It just adds another level of note taking and rolling dice and numbers that I don't want to remember, because it's easy enough for me to bring in villains, and it's easy enough for me to bring in a background story villain as well that is coming after one of the characters. I don't need a roll of dice to decide that, and I'm gonna put it in when I want to, when it feels right. That's when you need to do it. And now I'm not criticizing that obligation thing, because I think it's a good thing, especially for new GMs who just want to let things play out in a random way and you roll dice for it. I think that's fine. When I was younger, I used to love lists and things that random things and like hex crawl kind of random stuff. I just, as an experienced GM now, I don't need that anymore because I've done it so many times. So thusly, I encourage you to do that if you want to. The obligation thing, random stuff like that, using a lot of tables. I encourage that because I did that too. But now it's just so in my DNA. I don't need it because I do type out stuff and figure out what I want in like a jigsaw puzzle of different plots and characters. But I let them kind of come in when I feel it's right to come in. Not when I roll dice. But anyway, again, I don't use obligation, but I think it's a good tool to use if you need it, if you want it, if you like it. But there's elements like that in there that I'm sort of slowly building up as they're progressing in the story. Each one of them, I kind of know their backgrounds, I know what their issues are, what they want, and I'm kind of building up different little things like that that'll come in and surprise them, which is a really great thing to do. Know their backgrounds, have those elements sort of ready to be thrown at them when you want, just to add more to the story and in which direction they want to go in. Okay, so that's my session 0. It's not really session 0 with the players. It's session 0 to explain to you just how tough this series is and how weird the first 8 or 9 episodes are, and how I was impatient and just really wanted to do it and get it up there and just start watching it myself because I just, whatever, I'm narcissist or something, but I just really enjoy it. It's funny, I really just enjoy listening to them as a podcast on my own, just to, for self-critique, or I just like, whatever. I just into the Star Wars thing, and very much into this style where it's battle maps and tokens and stuff like that. And it's hard to find any that are like that. There's a couple out there that I enjoy, but, just wanted to add mine to it. Okay, that was my babbling on session 0 thing, just to explain things, because as I'm listening to it, I really wanted to get across that, okay, look, this is a tough 6 or 7 episodes where we're dealing with foundry crashes, or not foundry crashes, but character crashes or issues or whatever, players crashing, it is their connections, and only a couple players, and but I think it really gets better in episodes 10 when we finally get everybody working together and we're getting a flow going on there. But yeah, obviously the first episode is the one where you decide whether you're going to watch a show or not. So it's kind of a bummer that I started this series off, in a haphazard way. But oh well, that's just what it is, and that's kind of why I'm doing this session 0, just to explain everything and where this series is going and what we're doing. Again, canon. We're going to try to keep it canon. No preaching. I'm just might say something at the very beginning. Hopefully, like just a positive, grateful thing to, about our faith, and but that's about it. And then we're just going to keep it fun and dad jokes and family friendly Star Wars role playing game. All right. Thanks if you listen to this whole thing. I know I babble. I don't write scripts, but thanks anyway. And that's the Session 0 Star Wars role playing game explanation.